I'm on a quest to find music and art. Supporting local talent is the place I start. Yeah, this is our culture, the place to be. Games, books, arts and crafts and jewelry. This the guardians of the geekery. 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 And now for today's episode of Guardians of the Geekery with your hosts, Matt, Carol, and Joey.
Woohoo! All right. Hey, very happy to have Stuart Jaffe back with us, and especially returning to the Geekery Market on Saturday, November 21st, 2026 at the Cabarrus Arena and Event Center, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Over 30,000 square feet of geeky goodness, and Stuart has his square footage staked, claimed, and he's ready to go. We're very excited to welcome you back, Stuart. Thanks for jumping on with us again. Always a fun conversation, and nice to see what you're up to now. So welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me always.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Stuart, you have been at the event for quite a few years now. Not since the beginning. Now, in the very, very beginning, 2016, we did not have any authors in there. We had like authors in the hallway, but it wasn't until maybe
I was at I want to say like two or three of them before when it was I can't remember what it used to be called.
At the Noah's
that's the
event
other
center.
word. Yeah, once we get to Noah's, we opened it up to having other people.
So I did a few of those, and then when you guys came back, I've been with you.
Yeah, you've been with us.
Yeah.
So definitely because there was a time where we were like, we're not doing artists or authors because there's enough events. This is just all crafted stuff. And then we started being like, let's let the authors play in this playground. So, but no, and you're back again. One of our most prolific authors, right? So
Indeed.
Yes.
yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you've been writing lately and what you're going to be bringing to the market this year.
Sure. Well, so last year I had I don't know if I'd put it out yet, but I'll have it this year, this book, which is the second in my Pathway Ring series. This is called Lines of the Pathway. This had come out just around the time of the Geekery last year, so I may not have had any copies. I will this year. That's book 2 of my science fiction epic that follows one family across generations. And we're following them because they're at the center of building the first ever Stargate in space called the Pathway Ring. And then when you go through it, you get spit out somewhere. And if you ever want to get back, you got to build the other end of it. And over the centuries that it takes them to build this other end, we go through all this family drama and birth and death, love and loss and all that, as well as political upheavals, religious upheavals, first contact with aliens. It's epic in scope, and I'm in the middle of writing book 3 right now, which, like this book, it just so happens I might be able to have copies of it. It might just be done in time for your show, or it might not, but I will certainly have the first and second book there. And then let's see, earlier this year it was either January or February, my best-selling series, the Max Porter Paranormal Mysteries. There's always at least one, sometimes 2 books a year. So this is the latest one, book 20, Southern Lost. And that'll be there. And I won't tell you anything about it because it's book 20. So either you're already on board and you're already excited for it, or you haven't read it yet.
Start with book 1.
Which is called Southern Bound. And I'll have that there as well. And then the newest shiny is this. It's called Dragon Slain.
Ooh, love the cover. Yeah.
And thank you. And that's by Mary Morgan. She's a Brazilian artist and just really talented. And this is fantasy, horror, and dragons.
So how many books are you typically creating each year?
I would probably average 3 to 4 a year. When I was younger, there were a couple 6 book years, and then there have been a couple years where it's just 1 or 2.
Do you
Depends.
work on them simultaneously?
No. I know
I was
people
gonna
do that.
say,
I don't know how their brains do.
I
I'm
was
a
like, yeah.
one book at a time person. And short stories and all that get thrown in as well. Um, I tend to write very, very tight books. So the Pathway Ring books are the longest books I've ever written. And those take me a little bit longer. But most of my books are not enormous, Sanderson epic size books. They come in, they do their job, and they get out of your way, and there's no filler.
How many
Um,
books do you anticipate the space the science fiction
oh, the
series to
Pathway
be?
Ring
The
series
Pathway
is
Rings, yeah.
is it's going to be 4.
Okay.
I thought for a while, I thought it might end up being 5, but I know now I'm in book 3, and I know book 4. I've had that kind of planned out for a while, the last book, and I just didn't know if I was going to be able to get timeline wise, but it's all lined up. So yeah, it'll be book 3 will come out later this year. Book 4 will be done next year, and it'll be over.
Thank you for limiting your series to like not just drag on and on and on and on and
Oh
on.
yeah. Most of my series, when I write them, there's an arc that it's going to follow. Some, like the Max Porter, it's a
Yeah.
mystery series, and it's intended to just go as long as people want it, because there
Yeah,
can always be
that's
a new case. Um, and but yeah, and then the Dragon book is, at the moment, I mean, it's a standalone with series potential, but I was waiting to see how it sells and how I felt, because I really enjoyed writing it, but I don't know. I'm not- I I'm content if I never have to write another Dragon story again. I really liked that one a lot. It was a lot of fun. Um, and I'm happy to do more, but I'm also fine if that's it. We'll see what you all decide by, how whether you go tell people to get it and you're like, yeah, this is the greatest thing.
Instead of a show of hands, by a show of credit cards. This will
Pretty
determine.
much.
Yeah.
there you
I,
go. There you
I,
go.
I write to make a living. So if the books don't sell, then that
And
tells me
this is your full-time job these days, right?
it's been my full-time job for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
So do
yeah.
you outline your books?
Yes.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
know there's some was like it just flows out of me and just that's how it was, but then others like, nope, it's gonna go here and here and here and here and here.
Yeah, so I outlined, I started doing that. It just became a practical thing when I realized the kind of career I was developing. It's a type of career that requires me to constantly be putting out new stuff because you're all insatiable. and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it's it's very easy for people to forget you. If if you don't have a huge Random House machine behind you to say, okay, Stuart hasn't put out a book in 2 years, and here's the sequel you've been waiting for, and we're going to let you know for months and months and months, and here we're going to put all this, then you know about it, right? And you hear about it, and every TikToker is talking about it because they've been given a copy and all this. I don't have that machine. So the best thing I have is to keep giving you stuff and putting out more stuff, and hopefully is quality stuff that you want to keep reading. And the only way I can do that, for me at least, is I can't waste time sitting at my computer looking at a blank screen going, I don't know what's going to happen today. And then finally decide and go write for 3, 4 days and then realize, oh no, that was the wrong thing. Now I know what it should be. Let's scrap that, go back. I can't write that way. And it works for other authors, and even other authors who have a career like mine. I don't think that way. I have an outline, and I can wake up without a thought in my head, look at my outline and go, oh, that's what I'm doing today. And then and then now I have something to focus on. and then and all that testing and not knowing what it's going to do, I do in the outline stage. So I'm just, if I have to, I never have to scrap 4,000 words or a couple chapters. I just have to scrap a couple lines that said, here's what happens in the chapter. And I'm like, no, that's not what's going to happen now. It'll be this. And, that's the general thing. And I'm not a slave to the outline. If things change, that's fine. But I have the outline, so I know, okay, I'm changing, but here's where I have to come back to.
Yeah.
And I've done it enough now. Over the years, it would be like I'll come back and I'll come near where I wanted, or maybe I'll go off here or there. But I've written so many books that now I pretty much nail it in the outline stage, unless I'm in real uncharted waters. The science fiction epic. I've written science fiction before. I've never done anything like this scale and scope. And so there were a lot of cases where I wrote the whole book, and then working with my readers, I'm like, I completely missed the mark, or I completely missed the mark in the sense that they were not getting what I wanted them to get. So I needed to go back and rejigger things, which doesn't normally happen. So yeah,
But you
it's
have
more
that wiggle
expensive than
room.
you
So
wanted.
no, that's actually what I wanted. I wanted. So how many books have you written?
Um, I don't know. So it's I know it's
I was
over
like,
80. I
oh
think it's over
wow.
80 now. Or well, there's written, and then there's also books that are out, because I have books that are compilations of
Yeah.
other books, and those books I write an intro to and I put them together. So there are
Yeah.
certainly I, there's something over close to 100 titles. I'd guess over 80 books, and hundreds of short stories too.
So how do
Um,
you
Yes.
determine which ones you take to a show?
a lot of it is, so depends on how big of a table I have, how much space I have. But for your show, I have a lot of space, which is really nice. So I will bring I don't bring all the individual books like for the Max Porter series, because there's 20 books in the series, and the likelihood of somebody coming and wanting just book 14 is rare. So I will have a full set, which I sell at like, I think it's like 40% off if you get the whole thing. It's a huge discount, but it's 20
Hmm.
books. That's a lot to get. And I'll have a bunch of book one, but mostly I'll have the compilations. Each one has 3 books in it. And those are what really sell really well, and they take up less room. So I have room for all the others. So I have compilations of all my big series, and I'll have all the individual like stacks that I sell at a discount. And then there are standalones, so those will all be there. I'll have a mix of paperback and hardcover when they're and it's the only things there are a couple things I never bring, because I wrote what I thought was going, this is early in my career, I thought it was going to be a big series and nobody bought it, so it ended up just being a duology, but it was a YA, my attempt to do a YA series. Really cool books, and I've never had anybody dislike them, but nobody buys them. So they were just taking up space, and so I phased those out. So I don't bring them any. I don't even have, other than I have one copy of each book on my bookshelf, and that's it. Um, I don't bring my short story collections much anymore. Again, I might have one or two, but rarely do people want them. I bring what they consistently buy.
Yeah.
And then you just have to do some shifting around. Now that I have this doesn't have a place, so I'm gonna have to figure things out. And I suspect for the last bunch of years, the Ridnight trilogy that I did for Falstaff Books would be
Hmm.
kind of take up the center, and I would just use it to take up a lot of the big space there. And I might need to kind of move it. It's going to get shoved to the side for the new shiny kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
hey, one of the things I was curious about is, so I see you in different type of venues, like a Dragon Con, a Con Carolina is more literary type of venues, and then of course the Geekery market, and then like a Comic Con. Do you approach pitching differently if it depending on
Oh,
the
sure.
audience? Is that
Sure. So, in a short time from when we're recording this is going to be GalaxyCon Raleigh, which is enormous, like 40,000 people. And
wow?
they're all there to go see whatever movie stars, Patrick Stewart or whoever's going to be there. But that, so those, we have very limited time we have to pull them. First of all, we have to actually pull them in. So I have ways to get people's attention and get them to, I do a table with some other authors because it's very expensive to do. So we're all pulling in people, and then we have our pitches and we have to do them kind of, I mean, sometimes you can get in a little conversation and, if necessary, but I can go pitch. And if they're interested, we'll talk a little more. If they're not, I'll be like, here's my buddy, go look at his books. Because by the time, especially if somebody comes, we have a corner booth. And if somebody comes I'm always at one end because I have so many books. And the other author in the group that has a lot of books will be at the other end. And then whoever else is in the middle. So if they start at his end, by the time they get to me, they've been pitched so much, they're already fatigued.
Yeah.
I got to get them interested. So I need to be exciting, but it's like a 4-day convention. And by the end, I will have said the same exact words thousands and thousands of
Oh
times.
my God.
And that's pretty much all I say all weekend is just, ba ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba 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 ba. The interesting one will be, again, I don't mean to keep pushing this up, but I don't know how, I haven't figured out how I'm going to pitch this yet. So
I
by
think all you
the end
have
of
to
the
do is yell
weekend,
dragons.
I'll know.
having your patter is so critical. I mean, it really
Yeah.
is.
But you have to kind of watch how they react and then shift and change. So I can do this in my sleep because I've been doing it for, the series is over 15 years old. I know how to pitch that. Other stuff like the Pathway Ring series is only 2 years old, and what I gave you as a description of it is pretty much the pitch. But I'm constantly tweaking a word here. Can I make it faster? Can I make it more
Yeah.
exciting? Just seeing how people respond to what I say always is a thing. But that's the big ones. Then if I do something like a Con Carolinas, a more fan friend, it's not just it's a smaller con, 1,000 some people instead of 40,000. There's no huge movie stars or anything. The draw is the family and friends and people that are always going there. It's kind of your local con kind of thing. And there, if somebody wants to come into the booth and chat for a while, I can do that. Absolutely. There are panels going on. When panels go on, that's what everybody's doing. So if you come to me during a panel and want to talk, I can really, or if you want to geek out about my books and talk about my books or ask me how I wrote them or whether I plot or not, that kind of, I can give you an answer like I gave Carol because we got time. It's much more relaxed. If somebody and if you're a newbie writer and you want to come up and ask for advice, there's a great time to do it.
Yeah, don't
When
do it while
writers
there's
come
like,
up to me at a GalaxyCon, I'm like, I don't mean to be rude, but I'm
now's
like,
not the time.
yeah, I don't have time for you.
Yeah. We went to SC Comic Con and
Yeah.
Yep.
because it was my birthday weekend and
Yeah, I was there.
and it was in the town. Well, this is what I'm going to talk about. Like it was in the town where my mom and my brother live, so I was able to stay there for free. And we decided to go that day on Thursday or on that Saturday. And we knew there were going to be certain people there like you and Darren and others that were also going to be at the Geekery market. We had the postcards and we wanted to drop them off. We wanted to say hi. We wanted to support. And but that is not the time for us to chit chat.
Right.
That is, it's not like a Con Carolinas where we'll catch each other at the bar or a congregate or something like that. That's if there's one thing that I could say to listeners about when you attend, you will feel you will start to have friendships with authors and people that you support. And if you truly are their friends, sometimes just get out of their way so they can sell. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt and I wanted to, I think we had seen Darren, oh, I'd seen John and Teresa at Falstaff, and we had chatted with them. And then I think we bought your book, and then you held on to it for us for a while. And then like Darren, but Darren hadn't written anything new since last time. So we were like, we love you. We'll see you soon. But it's like we went to go pick it up, and I think I rode by you guys on after a while. Matt was like, I'm gonna stand here because everywhere I roll he has to walk. So you have to be respectful. And I think we about went by you guys 4 or 5 times before we found a time when you were not actively pitching or selling. And then as soon as we saw somebody pausing, we were like, we love you, bye. Because like, the last thing we want to do is prevent you from having a sale. And it's one of those things in the community. We all love each other. We all support each other. And if you don't, then you're really not in the community, but that's a whole other topic. But if there's one thing that I could share, it's that because so many of us are on some kind of neurospicy spectrum, it takes them a while to understand. We're happy to see you, but you're not our core audience if you're not buying anything that day, or you're not taking, if you've already been to the Geekery market, you're already planning to come. I'm so happy you're there. Please get away. like let me pitch to all the other people that are behind you that aren't going to stop because you're standing right front and center having a long conversation with us.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that's always key. It's like, let them make their money. You know, if you see them out in the wild, not while they're trying to shove food in their mouth at lunch, right? Like, 'cause that's when you're taking 10 minutes for yourself. But if you see them at the bar later and it's clear like they're not in a rush, they're not trying to jump to a panel, they're not trying to do, that's when you say, hey, can I buy you a beer? and then you say hi.
And something like the Geekery, you know, at any larger event like that where it's all about selling, there are lulls. There are moments where if you look around and there's nobody in the aisle except you, or you know, everybody else, or whatever, then absolutely come talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm happy for the company, but also know that if somebody comes up, you know, I'm going to push you out of the way.
Stand to the side. Yeah.
And I will usually, you know, I've learned again over the years, just like you learn how to pitch, I've learned how to basically make that transition where I'll pull somebody in. I'll say something effective. Don't worry, we're just chatting. You're more important. And everybody laughs. And the person I was chatting to understands I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm there to make money because I just said it. This person's more important. And then, you know, that kind of thing. And most of the people who are chatting with me at something like the Geekery, generally speaking, already know me anyway. So they're just like, I'll see you around. And that's
you can always circle back. But it's one of those things that it's like you just wish there was like a little telepathic like message you could send to say it's like, not this time, right? You know. It's definitely part of the process over the past 15 years you've had your series, things you've learned and things you have had to, like the pattern of how do I pitch this book versus that book at a busy event versus a slower event versus this is what they're into versus that's what they're into. And same thing for us when we're at events trying to promote, you know, the Geekery market for people to come out. It's like we've had to kind of come up with our way of doing it. But one of our challenges is because we're not selling anything in their minds. We're not charging for anything. I'm still selling.
Yeah.
You know? Well, yeah, you got to get.
I'm trying to sell so that Stuart can pay for. You
got to get people there because if you can't get people there, then
there's no point.
Then there's no point for me to be there.
Yeah, and so sometimes it's like, okay, you just have to like, you know, I've had people that are like, oh, well, I'll just sit here. I'm like, please don't. And even some of my close friends, I'll just be like, no, 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 do
Yeah.
not,
You're,
you
you're
know,
you're
do not,
blocking the banner. You're blocking the
no,
banner. Move.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and
That's
and you try not to be that person, but you're like, this is a responsibility, like
yeah,
you talk about, you go to these bigger events, it's thousands of dollars for you to be at that booth, right? And same thing with the Geekery market, although it's a free event to attend, it costs money for us to put it on.
yeah.
And in order for me to cover those costs, I have to make it worthwhile for my sellers, So and in order for it to be worthwhile, you have to get out of my way. So,
No,
so
I
I can
completely understand. I mean, it's the same thing again at at those big shows. A lot of people are in costume, and it's awesome. But there are a lot of people who are just spatially unaware of their wings and their costume, and so they're standing. They're not looking at you. They're chatting with their friend, but they're in front of your booth, blocking everything. And I'm
Yep.
losing sales because people are walking by. And I know they're not trying to be rude to me,
yeah,
but
Yeah.
where are they going to go? They're trying to figure out where to go next or what to do. I get it. And if they're standing there for 10 seconds, 15, 30 seconds, fine. But we have had something to have it happen sometimes where there's like a group of like 8 people making a big circle, just chatting. Oh, I haven't
Mhm.
seen you in a while. And if we don't say anything, they'll be there for a half hour. And
Yeah.
we're like, you guys got to
Mm.
move, either buy or leave because this
yeah,
is my store and I need people
yeah.
coming in.
I've had it before where I've told this story, but Charlotte Comic Con, there was a guy who was there with his mom and his grandmother. His grandmother was in his wheelchair. His mom was not all there. And he would literally park them in front of our booth, which was when we were still on the inside. We were giving away posters for movies and stuff like that,
Mhm.
but we were also promoting the market. And they would be there for half an hour while he walked around. And I just, there's that moment where you're like, and they were like, oh, is this free? Is this free? Is this free? And it's
Mm.
like, for the kids, and you're taking 10 plastic
Yeah.
dinosaurs and two t-shirts, and
Right.
and it's like, and you're not going to come, and your son has already told us he's not interested in our event because we're not comic books, you know what I mean? And I'm like, please just go away. and
Yeah.
and so there was a couple times where we had new people volunteering at the table, and they don't know, and they
Right.
see them coming, and they're like, da, 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 and I'm like,
Having said all that, thankfully, and for people listening to this is a minority of people we're talking about. The
oh
Oh,
Yeah.
majority of
Very,
absolutely.
you
very
all
few.
yeah,
are
Yeah. It's very
wonderful.
few.
Yeah. Yeah.
Truly, truly.
yeah,
Most people, even people who are very neurodivergent, will come up and are wonderful, and they get it.
yeah,
And and likewise, it goes both ways. There are people that again, I have enough experience, but I used to not know this. I used to just somebody come up to my table, I start pitching them, and I've realized there are some people who come up and they don't want you to say a word. They don't want to be talked to. They're just going to look through the books, and then they'll hand one to me, and I'm like, "Would you like that? Yes. Would you like a sign? And that's it. And
yeah,
they don't want to. That's as much interaction as they can handle.
yeah,
I'm happy. I try and respond to. I try to be a cognizant of that as well as I hope that they are cognizant of our needs on our
Yeah.
side.
That's a great
Definitely.
point. Yeah. Great point.
yeah. And it's just having that spatial awareness. Like, okay, they're not making eye contact with me after I've made one comment. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But if they're open, like for me, it's always the mom who's trying to wrangle the three kids that are over there looking at the collectible for $250, and
Yeah.
they have no concept and will just want to rip it out of the box, and with the gorilla or
Yeah.
whatever. And I'll be like, "Oh, did you know that our table's free stuff?" And you just see the light in their eyes, and they're like, "Savior."
That's nice for you. So I have if I just have a mom with a bunch of kids, it's always a problem because the mom is the one who's going to want my books,
Right.
and she's trying to look at them or hear a pitch, and there's kids, and a lot of times I've had to, like, especially at a big show, I'll be talking to a mom, and the kids will be going. She'll be like, she'll be like, I'm sorry, but hopefully I can come back when I'm without the kids. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. But
Yeah.
Usually that's what a bookmark is for, or a card, and they can hopefully
Exactly.
look it
Here's
up
our
later.
QR code. Check me out online when you have a
Yeah,
chance. Yeah. Yeah. It's for me, it's that I just gave your kids free stuff. Just hear my 30-second
sure.
pitch, right? So and the same thing, stickers are universal. Everybody wants a free sticker. So that helps us out. But what's always hard for us is when we set up next to somebody who's selling stickers, because then I feel bad because I'm giving them away for free and they're charging $5,
Yeah.
and so thankfully, like now with like Rick and Dave's show with Comic-Con, we usually are not too close to people with stickers. Although last time we had two people across from us selling stickers and we were giving them away for free. Um but yeah, it's kind of knowing how to do that. And it's a survival skill. Being able to pack yourself up, unpack, figure out what to bring, what sells, what doesn't sell, and kind of knowing how to do that. So kudos to you for being able to make it a career
Thank you.
Yes.
for all this time.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you guys for giving me a place to sell my stuff, because that's what
Yes.
helps make it a career.
But we're one place and you have to, how many shows do you end up doing a year?
A lot. I try to do at least average like once a month. If I were younger, I would do a lot more. I say that, and then there's an author named James Maxey, who I'm sure you guys know.
Yeah.
Uh, he does his
It's like every weekend,
he does
isn't it?
so many, and he's much older than I am, and I don't know how he has the stamina for it, because I do
Like when are
something
you
like,
leaving time to write, right?
yeah, I do something like a Galaxy Con, like a big con like that, and I get back home, and it takes me another day or two before I'm even functional in my brain. And I don't know how you just can do that time. If I had a roadie, I could do it, but a
Yeah.
roadie, books are heavy, especially once you all started getting into hardcovers. Oh my goodness, I love selling hardcovers. You make a lot of money off of them, but they're heavy to lug around.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm always amazed by how quickly people are able to set up their booths with things like books and, well, even like Charlotte Comic Con, where you see people just lugging out those um, long boxes and the whole wall
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
all that
it's
kind of
crazy.
stuff. I'm just always amazed. So if you had a piece of advice to give to new authors or new people who are starting to go on the con circuit as a way to sell their wares, what's something you wish somebody had told you when you started out in the biz?
Um, well, I don't know if it's something I wish somebody had told me, because the opportunities weren't there when I first started. But I, when you only have like one book, two books, small cons, or a sales con like the Geekery is a great place that you can do it. I see them; they all want to be in the big shows, and it's just, I've tried to explain to them, even if you're getting an author, an author alley or an artist alley table in something like some type of GalaxyCon, Comic Con kind of thing, that's going to run you $300 or $400 just for the table, and you only have two books. And if I'm a reader and I come up and they're presumably book one and two of a series that's not done yet, and I look, either I like it or I don't, and that's it. You either get the sale or you don't. We move on. But whereas I can afford to do a Galaxy Con because, oh, you don't like this? Well, how about this? How about this? How about, I got something that I
Mhm.
probably can convince you to give a try, and and so that's the big difference. So when you're just getting started, smaller conventions, your local conventions, um, something like the Geekery, or even libraries sometimes have little shows. They don't get a library doesn't get a huge turnout usually. Smaller conventions like a congregate has what, like 200-300 people, very small convention. And what's great about those is you only have one book. but you have the time to pitch it and then repitch it and pitch it again without you're not losing that many opportunities. Once you have more to sell and you understand how to pitch and you've worked on, you've had some of those interactions, so you get how to react, then it's worth investing your money, because it's not only just getting your pitch right and your patter right, but one of the other things you get is your responses. Because I guarantee whatever your response to me as to why you can't buy the book, I've heard it and I now know what to say to make you change your mind. It's really,
Yes.
I mean, and I didn't, it's just, I've heard it, all of it. And I know when no means no, or when no is like, no, but I actually do have money still burning a hole in my pocket and I'd like to buy the book. I just need somebody to convince me that it's a good idea. And I can hear the difference.
Yeah.
And that's just from experience. So get that experience in the smaller venues and work your way
Yep.
up.
Yeah, and we're
Very good
probably
advice.
Geekery Market's probably a little bit more than the 1 to 2 book author, unless you come with a buddy, because we don't want you to.
Yeah, sharing tables is not
Yeah, sharing
unheard of.
tables.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's probably
I
good.
wasn't thinking so much the specific
Yeah.
rules of the geekery as just the
Oh, well,
size and
yeah, but
scope.
even at
Yeah,
when you're first starting out, definitely go for the smaller venues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely. So, Stuart, where can they find you between now and the market to check out your stuff and make their shopping list for the year?
Sure. I mean, the easiest place is, of course, stuartjaffe.com. You can put my name in on Amazon and you'll get all the lists there, and you can follow me there. So you get new book whenever Amazon has a new book from me, they'll let you know. Or the best thing, if you go to my website, somewhere on the home page, I think way up top and way on the bottom, you can click a button and sign up for my newsletter, so you'll know when it comes up, and also you get some free books, so you can actually try out my books as ebooks for free. See if you like it, and if you do,
Yeah.
start making your list.
That's right.
And if you don't, what's wrong with you?
That's right. That's right. He's a
Remember,
good
it's
author.
Absolutely.
Stuart,
Oh my gosh.
Stuart, not Stewart. So
Correct.
Stuart, as in you need to go there. Jaffee, JAFFE.com. So, and of course, if you go to the Geekery Market page, you'll see him listed there. Just look for the ST and the rest will follow.
Yeah.
So, so check it out. Well, Stuart, it is always great to catch up with you. Looking forward
Yes.
to seeing you again soon. And definitely seeing you at the Geekery Market. So
Well,
thanks.
thank you for having me. I look forward to doing the show with you guys. It's always a great time, and yeah, I can't wait.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Stuart.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was an episode of Guardians of the Geekery. Thank you for listening. Check us out at guardiansofthegeekery.com and stay tuned for more content.